Hey guys, welcome in. It is Brad with College SportsCast, and I'm here tonight to do something a little different. So today was early signing period, and I'm going to talk about Kentucky and talk about their recruiting class a little bit tonight. So.
Can I please have your attention?
There's all a commotion around here.
What are you talking about?
Let them yap at you.
It's actually very exciting.
All right, guys, welcome in. It's Brad with College SportsCast. I'm here to actually do our very first College SportsCast blast. We're doing Kentucky football early signing day today. Just thought I'd get on here just for maybe 15, 20 minutes or something at the most and kind of talk a little bit about all that's went on today with Kentucky football. Pretty exciting. So I thought I'd get on here and talk a little bit about all the stuff that's going on. It's signing day. And of course, it's signing day for everybody. And I'll kind of get to some of the things. But the big thing that happened today, which is absolutely massive for Kentucky, is Dumas Johnson, the linebacker from Georgia, who just announced last Friday that he was transferring. And he visited very quickly. He visited Kentucky on Saturday and Auburn on Sunday. And this is a former Butkus Award finalist in 2022 with the championship defense that Georgia had in 2022. He is a second-team All-American in that year in 2022 as well. And he announced he was transferring. He visited us and he visited Auburn over the weekend. And today he announces that he is transferring to Kentucky for his one and only year. But this is the top linebacker in the transfer portal. The top. Depending on what site you look, another side, I've seen him at 13. So it just depends on what you are looking at, but he is still in both the top linebacker in the country in the transfer portal. So it is a massive, massive get. I mean, to be able to get a championship caliber guy from Georgia. So, you know, it's a massive deal for Kentucky. They have some holes to fill in the linebacker because Trevin Wallace announced he is going to the NFL. Keaton Wade is transferring. Martez Thrower is transferring. So there is a hole or two in the middle to fill, and getting the likes of Dumas Johnson from Georgia is an absolute massive pickup for the Kentucky Wildcats. Great job by Stoops, by Brock Vandegrift, I'm sure, who played a role in this. He is a 2-year starter for the Georgia Bulldogs and backed up Nakobe Dean on the 2021 team as a true freshman. And I think had 2 starts that year. So as a true freshman, and was the backup to Nakobe Dean, who was one of the best football players in the country that year. And first round pick. So this is a guy who, before the season started, had NFL draft aspirations for 2024, and he got hurt about midway through the season. He broke his arm. And because of that, I guess he feels like he needs one more year. It's great for the Cats, and I'm super excited about getting a guy the caliber of Dumas Johnson. So Stoops today called him Pop as a nickname. Um, in that's what they called him, was Pop. I don't know if that's a nickname that comes from Georgia, or if he's just he's really he's 21 was his class. He's just been out 3 years, so it's not that big of a that he's older. So, but anyway, they called him Pop. Hey Josh, what's up, man? Appreciate you being with me. Just thought I'd get on here and talk a little bit about the Cats today and their recruiting class, and a massive get here for Dumas Johnson. And you're right, I will get to Brock in a few minutes, but Brock was a massive get, and for Kentucky as well. But the huge get today was Dumas Johnson, the linebacker. Can't stress it enough just how big it is to get a guy his caliber for Kentucky. You know, if De'Aaron Jackson comes back, there's a chance that J.J. Weaver could come back for a super senior year. You know, and if you could fill the spot with Dumas Johnson in the middle to go with Deion Walker and our defensive line and some of these guys that I'm going to talk about later, bringing them in, I mean, that's a pretty good front seven, which should be a pretty good front seven. We'll see how that goes. But also today in the transfer portal, we picked up Jalen Farmer. He is an offensive lineman that transferred in from Florida. He was 2 years ago. We almost flipped him 2 years ago. He came for a visit the weekend before this day, before the December signing day, and then decided to wait. And he didn't sign in December, and he decided to wait till the February National Signing Day. And in the meantime, we lost our O-line coach to Alabama, Warford to Alabama. And when we lost him, who was the lead recruiter, then Farmer wound up going to Florida. But now he apparently isn't happy at Florida. Florida has had a ton of defections with the transfer portal, good and bad ones. I mean, you know, so getting a guy who is, I think, 6'5", 310 pounds, this is a guy that could come in and add some quality depth. I'm not sure in his first year that he will be a starter. With Dylan Ray and Marquez Cox back and Eli Cox back, we have Jagger Burton is going to be back on the offensive line, and Cortland Ford will probably be back on the offensive line. So I do not expect him to be a starter, but we had the Ohio State guy transfer in last year, Ben Christian is his name. And we got Tanner Bowles, and now we'll have Jalen Farmer as depth pieces for the offensive line, which I think is a huge get. He is a 3-star guy in the transfer portal, but is a big pickup. And now Josh is going to talk about Brock Vandegrift. Him and Dumas Johnson are the anchors of the 9th ranked transfer class so far in the country. Vandegrift in 2021 was a 5-star kid, been on the championship teams, backed up Carson Beck this year, and is transferring in. When I say 5-star, he's the type of kid that Kentucky usually doesn't land, guys. So, he is the type of kid that he was 4th in his class QB. He was a top 20 guy. One rankings I saw, he was at 17. One rankings, he was at 22 overall. I'm talking about overall, not 22 as a QB. I'm talking about that's how high he was in his class. We've got four-star guy, a wide receiver, 4 years left, Cottrell coming from Texas A&M. We've got four-star guy, running back, Chip Trainum, something like that is his last name. I don't know how to pronounce it just yet. Running back from Ohio State. And we got Jamori Macklin, who had over 1,000 yards at North Texas. He played there. He transferred from Missouri to North Texas, and now he's transferring to us. And we definitely are happy to have him. He can take the top off the defense and play over the middle. So Kentucky is hot in the transfer portal. The transfer portal is not over. That is a current ranking where they actually stand right now in the transfer portal. They will be, my guess is picking up a few more pieces. They've got the linebacker. It wouldn't surprise me if they go after a defensive end. And it wouldn't surprise me if they go after a corner as well. We had brought in a corner from Mississippi State, Nicholson, the weekend before last, but I haven't heard anything if he's going to commit or what's going on with him. But he was a former UK commit from JUCO and then switched to Mississippi State, flipped on us on December signing day 2 years ago. And now he's a grad transfer, and he's somebody, his last name is, I think it's Corliss. I think Nicholson is his last name. He is a cornerback that has been at Mississippi State the last 2 years. Somebody to keep your eye on. I would think that we would go get a corner. I also would think we might get a defensive end. And I'm not so sure that we might not try to get one more linebacker because we need some depth. We're losing at least three. Hopefully J.J. Weaver will come back for his sixth year, super senior year. That would be a great pickup for us if he does. So, all right, guys, we'll try to keep this a little short. So we also picked up a defensive back, Cam Dooley, today. He's actually an athlete. He played wide receiver. He played safety. He played corner. But I heard today that Kentucky is wanting him to be a safety. He's like 6'2", 200 pounds. And I heard he's a really hard hitter and that they were looking at him as a safety. He was an addition today to the class. He's the 21st player today to the class. And he formerly, about 2 months ago, was committed to Missouri, backed out of that commitment. Kentucky stayed with him. He made several visits here and wound up picking us today over, of course, Missouri, Maryland, and Wisconsin, I believe. It was his finals. So we're happy to have him on board. Defense is the name of the game for our high school class. We have 6 four-star kids on the defense, all on the defensive side of the ball, and some really, really good ones. The Smith twins from Corbin, Kentucky. They are both four-star guys who the number one team in the country right now, Michigan, wanted badly. They were actually committed to Michigan and flipped to us. So it was a huge, huge pickup to get the Smith twins from Corbin. They led to a second place ranking in the state, got beat by Boyle County, who had a great team. But they held their own. Bull County had been running the score like crazy, and it was a 21-14 game, and they've been killing everybody 40-something to nothing, 50 to nothing all season long, and they even did that in the championship game. And the quarterfinal game with Corbin was actually the best game of the playoffs. Should have been the semifinals or finals at the very least. But it was great to get the Smith twins, Brian Robinson, who Michigan also wanted, is a linebacker, or defensive end, that looks like an NFL guy right now. There's actually a picture. If you will look this kid up, he's 17 years old, guys. There's actually a picture of him standing next to Myles Garrett, the NFL guy, Myles Garrett, and he's bigger than Myles Garrett. I mean, this dude, and he works out like crazy. I follow him on X, Twitter, and he's always posting his workout regimen and stuff and nutrition. I mean, his body is like, he's like 260 pounds, 6'5", 260. I mean, he's a defensive end, and he's going to be an absolute hoss and most likely play from day one. Got cornerback. We got another cornerback, Nichols, from Ohio. This 4-star kid that's going to be great. So we've got the 24th ranked class coming in and the 9th ranked transfer class so far. I do not think we're done in the transfer class. But I want to hit Stoops' comments today a little bit. A couple of things, 2 or 3 things stood out to me with Stoops' comments. NIL. In the season, there was a big to-do about Stoops' comments after the Georgia game about ponying up and people wanting, needing more money if we're going to hang with the big leagues. So here's what I want to say. So Jordan Dingle, our tight end, put his name in the transfer portal, and I found out today in the Stoops comments and press conference about all this. He was asked about some of it. Tennessee offered him a ton of money to come in NIL, and that enticed him. But when it was all said and done, his love for the UK family and his love for Kentucky actually won over, and he come back. But what I'm here to tell you is the NIL stuff that's going on is very real, and we're in the mid-level. That's where we are with the NIL. And there are teams that are way above us that are offering our kids lots more money. Willie Rodriguez, a tight end, just visited Tennessee last weekend and he had a Tennessee and an Auburn offer here in the last few days. NIL offers, money deals that speaks to some of these kids. No matter if you have built a relationship for 2 or 3 years, no matter if you have a commitment, no matter, when it's all said and done, when it's time to write your name on that contract and you got somebody in your ear offering you $400,000, sometimes it speaks to these kids. And I'm also going to throw this out. Trevor Etienne, or whatever his name is, from the running back from Florida, he's another guy that we would have went after, but he's looking for NIL, high dollar NIL money. Rocket Sanders, I had heard 3 weeks ago that he was going to be somebody that we were going to go after from Arkansas, running back. But guess what? He's looking for high dollar NIL, and we passed on it. So those comments are real, and our program needs to step up. I'm just here to tell you, our program and our fan base needs to step up. So trying to remember the name of it. Hang on just a minute. Go to www.kentucky15.com. And that is where you can sign up to be a donor for Kentucky Football Collective. This is just Kentucky football. So that is a place that you can go. The 15 Club is the name of it. You would be part of the 15 Club. And I'm just going to throw that out there because it is needed in this landscape. This is the world that we are living in. And if we want Kentucky to rise up like the fans acted like they wanted this past year, then, Ole Miss is raking in the transfers right now and is going to have one heck of a year. Missouri is raking in some high dollar transfers right now. I'm not saying Kentucky's not holding their own. They're in that mid range in the SEC. I'm going to say, 5 to 10 somewhere, and we're doing okay. But on the field, that's going to matter and that's going to make a difference. If we're sitting at 8 or 9 and we got to play these top 4 teams that are just, 4 or 5 teams that are just high dollar worlds away from us, it makes a difference on the field. That's all I'm going to say. So I did want to throw that out there. I'm very happy with today. There is the National Signing Day in February. I don't know if we are going to get another one. I know there is at least one more kid that as of an hour or so ago, I did not see if he had signed. So if he has not signed, maybe he's waiting to the February. And that is Mo Williams, running back from Kentucky that played in the 90s. That is his son, Amari Williams. He is a defensive end, and I would love to pick him up. Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Texas A&M, everybody is after him. But he has visited here. His dad's a former player, and I would love to pick him up to go with this class. And there might be a few more along the way. But I just wanted to get on here and kind of give you guys a quick update. It's been a few minutes. Josh, who is still out there that we have a shot at. That's one of them that I know for sure that we still have a shot at. The Nichols kid in the transfer portal. I know there is a Tulane wide receiver. His first name is Chase. I cannot remember what his last name is right now, but he's from Tulane. We offered him. He is a wide receiver. So there's a few to look for. I'm sure there's going to be some others in the transfer portal that we will go after. I would say that we've got 7 right now. It would not surprise me if we wind up with about 13. At least 11, at least 4 more. It wouldn't surprise me at all. So a really good day. As far as all the transfers, yes, a couple of quick notes. As far as I can tell, Josh, Brown and Key are staying. The offense seems to be really excited about the injection of, Brock and these wide receivers and running back, and they think they've got something with Liam Cohen, and it seems like that's a good thing as of right now. We got this bowl game. If it's a dud, and they don't feel good after it, all things could change. So we got to go out, we got to play, and we got to show that we belong on the field with a team like Clemson, because that's who we're playing in the bowl game. One thing real quick about the bowl game, I know there is at least 2 opt-outs from Kentucky now. Kenneth Horsey, who is, going out for the draft, is not going to play. He had already kind of announced it. I kind of knew that. Jeremy Flax, senior, who came back last year, is not playing as well. Those are 2 offensive linemen. We'd been playing without Horsey a lot this year because he'd been hurt. So, and Cortland Ford will fill in Jeremy Flax's spot, and he's a good offensive lineman, probably a better pass blocker than Flax. Flax is probably a better run blocker. So I don't think it will hurt us all that much, but Cortland Ford is a better pass blocker. So I know we have 2, but everybody else so far that I have heard, Trevin Wallace is playing. Juton McClain is playing, is playing, that's in the transfer portal. Andrew Phillips, who declared for the draft, is playing. Tavion Robinson is playing. So, yes, Ray Davis is playing, Josh, absolutely. He had announced Ray Davis is playing in the game. I mean, from everything that I can tell, even some of the guys that are in the portal now, Isaiah Cummings is probably not. He's signed with Louisville today. So, I mean, a couple of them that's already signed. The Wade twins won't be there. And Kyra Sharon, I don't think is going to be there either. But I could be wrong on Kyra Sharon. I'm not real sure. I haven't heard if he's going where he's going yet. So maybe he's going to stick around for the bowl game. I know the Wade twins are not. So, there's a few, but a lot of the ones that are in the portal or going to the draft are playing for us. So Kenneth Horsey and Flax have both had some knee issues, and they are trying to prep for the NFL. So they're 2 that I kind of get. Their time is up here. Neither one of them have eligibility anymore. So, I kind of get that they're prepping for the NFL draft and don't want to take the risk. So I kind of get those 2. I understand that. It's good to hear that a lot of these other guys are playing in the game. So that's going to wrap it up. I appreciate you being on with me, Josh. I appreciate you being on with me as well. I'm just going to share this, and maybe I can get some hits. And I thought I'd do this real quick and just do something quick and have a little fun with Kentucky football and the National Signing Day. So I appreciate y'all being with me, and we'll be on tomorrow night with our game day pick'em for College SportsCast. So this has been College SportsCast Kentucky Early Signing Day Blast. Y'all have a good night.